Greetings, I'm going to another Genshin Impact video. So today we're taking a look at Lisa, the second of the 3 free characters that you get during the game. And a character that's probably a little underutilized because when people first get her, they don't really have the gear to make her really shine, and they just try and use her as an attacker, and it really doesn't work out. So what we mean by this is that Lisa, as you can see here, is a type of mage, and by that I mean somebody that has a certain element tied to every single one of their attacks. So Barbara here would be another example of that, where all of her attacks are based on water. So Lisa here has basically the same thing, but for lightning. And that means that she, instead of being based entirely on physical attack, you need to combine her between some attacks so you can actually deal damage, and some elemental mastery so that you can increase the potency of the elemental reactions you're going to cause with your lightning attacks. So you can see here her normal attacks are pretty much standard, but the important part here is her charged attack. Now, as you can see, her charged attack damage is about on par as her 4th hit chain combo. And this is important because of the passive we're going to look at in a little bit. Other than that, everything stamina costs us 50, so it's pretty expensive to lose the charge attack, but it is definitely worth it. And then we have Violet Arc. Now this releases a homing lightning orb that will hit somebody and deals a small AoE worth of damage, really small AoE. But if you hold it, she'll start charging up and really unleashing lightning hail around her. The problem is that it has a very long casting time, and you'll see in a minute. But one of the talents that you can unlock her once you start getting multiple copies is the fact that she receives extra defense, and she is very hard to interrupt when doing the charge attack of this of her Violet Arc. So that is essentially what the game is telling us to do, to abuse her lightning abilities. If we see here, skill attribute, the non-conductive hold damage is that, and then it goes up by 40, by 60, and then by 60 again. So that's the amount of damage bonus we can hold. So if you hold it, it goes on 60-second cooldown. Other than that, well, if you don't hold it, it doesn't have a cooldown. Normal press damage is 80%, and press cooldown is 1 second. So you can see the damage really starts stacking up. Now, her elemental burst summons her little lantern. Apparently it's supposed to be a rose, I'm not really sure why, and does electro damage. However, the important part here is that it is always knocking back enemies. So really, this is kind of a protective shield for her against smaller enemies. This knockback does not work against giant things like Relic Guardians or the giant people with the shield, but hey, something is something. And it does last quite a bit long. It lasts 15 seconds, discharge damage is 36% of our attack power, so it's kind of okay, but it does apply lightning attributes, so that's the important part. Now, this is the reason why we are going to abuse her charged attack for Violet Arc if possible. His by charged attacks apply Violet Arc's shock status to the enemy, so our normal attacks, if we charge him up, will now apply this max stacks to the enemies that hits. And since our normal attacks don't have a cooldown, and we can get that going, that means that we can gather him up, hopefully, and then use our charged normal attacks to apply this debuff onto him, and then use the charged attack of Violet Arc in order to deal massive damage. That's the idea anyway. Then, her talent at Ascension Phase Level 4, enemies hit by lightning rolls have the defense decreased by 15%, so kind of okay-ish. Oh, and General Pharmaceutics, you have a 20% chance of refunding the materials when you make a potion. I have made 0 potions so far, but it's good to know it's there. Now, let's look at how I built her. So as I mentioned before, you want a combination of attack and elemental mastery, so you can deal maximum damage with everything. As you can see, our elemental mastery and our attack are pretty much on the same page here. So let's take a look at the details of the stats. So, Elemental Mastery, which is what I am focusing on, as you can see here, the stronger the elemental that can be released, increases damage caused by Vaporize and Melt. So this is whenever she hits, let's see, I believe that is ice and water, I believe. But that's what happens when they're hit with fire. Overloaded is when lightning hits fire, Superconductive is when it hits ice, and Electrocharged is, I think, when lightning hits lightning, I think. I'm not really sure on that one, though. And Shattered is on Geo by 137%, so that's more than double the damage. And increases the damage absorption power of shields through Crystallized by blah. So anyway, this is what we are focusing on. Other than that, we don't have any particularly amazing skills down here. Energy recharges at 100 extra %. What does this mean? Increase the amount of energy regenerated with each elemental particle and orb obtained, essentially. So she recharges her ultimate a lot faster. Now, for the weapon, I don't really have that many good weapons, which kind of sucks. But this one has attack and elemental mastery, and it's at level 20, so I could enhance it, hopefully. But I'm lacking this thing that I haven't farmed yet. But yeah, that's the weapon I chose for her. It's a very nice book with a good balance of base attack and elemental mastery. And this increases damage against affected by Hydro and Electro. Now, this is important because she applies Electro, and if you use it against Hydro, which is one of the main reasons you want to use her, because it jumps from one enemy to the next, it increases damage even better. So, an excellent book to give her, if you can manage to find it. And now, artifacts. So as you can see, we have two pieces here. This one increases her elemental mastery by 80%. And this one, after using an elemental skill, which is her E, which if you don't hold it has only a 1 second cooldown, increases all parties' members' elemental mastery by 120. So that means, thanks to this set, we have 80 extra, and then whenever you use her E, we will have an extra 120 for 8 seconds. So this is an amazing set for her. I managed to find this one has a little bit of extra elemental mastery, so that's what I gave her. Then for Feather, I couldn't find anything with a lot of elemental mastery, but this one's got attack, elemental mastery, HP, and energy recharge. And it's part of the instructor set that we really like for her. Then the instructor's bucket watch, same thing. We found one with an elemental mastery that could go up with the level with a little bit of attack, so we gave her that one. Now the goblet, we didn't have anything particularly special here. We only found one with elemental mastery and some recharge, so we gave her that one. And for her hat, we only really have this one that has attack plus 2.0% and is part of the instructor set. So that's what we gave her. And really the last thing to look at is the Constellation. So if you get the first copy, Infinite Circuit, Lisa regenerates 2 energy for every opponent hit while holding Violet Arc. This is her E ability, the one that launches the little orb. A maximum of 10 energy can be generated in this manner. So every time you land hits with the charged E ability, you can regenerate a lot of energy. Holding Violet Arc has the following effect: increases defense and increases lizard resistance to interruptions. So this is what I mean by the game is pushing us to abusing the charged E ability and using elemental overloads or interactions. Resonant Thunder increases our burst ability by 3. Plasma Eruption increases the number of lightning bolts released by lightning rolls by 1 to 3. So I believe it can hit either 2 or 4 enemies, I think. I'm not really sure on that one though. Electrocute increases the Violet Arc's level, and Pulsating Witch takes to the field. She applies 3 stacks of Violet Arc shock status onto nearby enemies. Can only occur once every 5 seconds. So, as you can see, the game is really pushing us to use her Violet Arc in charge mode. So that's what we're going to do here. Now, one of Lisa's weaknesses is that if the enemy does not have an element applied to them, like say those Helicores over there, if it weren't raining, they wouldn't have any element applied to them. So that means she would only be relying entirely on her normal attack damage, which is not what we want. We want her to have elemental interactions so that her elemental mastery comes into effect and she deals more damage. So we're going to do this here and see what shows up. Ah, perfect. We've got a couple of thieves here. So as you can see, the elemental over electro charge there is jumping quite a bit while, and it's hitting for quite a significant amount of damage, thanks to our elemental mastery. There we go, that's one. And we're going to use that to shock him to death. So as you can see, when the enemy is afflicted by another element, her damage can definitely get pretty monstrous. And yeah, it's not much. So let's go somewhere else where it isn't raining and show you how she does against an enemy that doesn't have an element applied to them. And we'll see what pops up. Let's see, where is some more of those? This one gets me money, so I'm not really interested in that one. And it looks like it's raining a bunch everywhere. And that's where the next one is, which kind of sucks. So let's go all the way over here and see if it isn't raining here. So we can show you the difference in damage that she was doing right now compared to the one where the enemies do not have an element applied to them. Okay, it's perfect. It's not raining here, so let's go do this one over here. So once again, we are trying to use our charged normal attack to apply a stack of the Violet Arc's supercharged or whatever it's called ability. Violet Arc's, what's it called? What's it called? Stack of conductive. That's what the word I'm looking for. Conductive. So what do we get this time? Ah, excellent. So as you can see, our damage is absolutely pathetic because the enemy is not afflicted with anything. But if we set them on fire, suddenly... Come on, where's the other one? They did not... Oh, there it goes. It goes into overloaded, and that did a little bit more damage, although we couldn't really see it. So let's do this. Now, unfortunately, these things have very high defense. So as you can see, we did 1,000 damage with overloaded right there. I'm not sure if you saw it. I'll make sure we can see it in the replay. But what we need is this, a shield. So that when they charge us... Come here, come here. Now, the trick to these guys is that you need to wait them to charge and let them charge into your shield. Like that. And then we smack them around a little bit. There we go, that was an extra 1,000 from the overloaded damage right there. Excellent, so let's go for maximum damage. 898 damage. Very nice. So as you can see, from 73 to the over 1,000 that we were doing with elemental overcharge. Like so. Like that. And that is a secret to Lisa and any other mages that you come in contact with. Or that you roll for here. Let's keep gathering these shields here. There we go. There was another 1,000 hit there. Gather the shields. That's the important part here. This should do. Come on. Get in here. Get it. There we go. Wham! There we go. More overloaded. There we go. 700 and something damage from that. There we go. More overloaded. 500 on that one. Well, let's just shock them to death. There we go. So as you saw, the difference between abusing the elemental interactions and not is huge, especially for characters like Lisa here. Oh yeah, that was only for money, which kind of sucks. So yeah, Lisa. The first mage you get in the game, well, mage-like character, and somebody that you might have some trouble learning to use in the beginning, but once you give her a good amount of elemental mastery, hello. Unfortunately, that lady over there is going to be Electro, so Lisa's going to be absolutely useless. However, you need to remember that Lisa is excels at basically blowing up any enemy that has a natural element aligned with it. So she absolutely destroys non-electro slimes, Hillikers that are set on fire, and other such things. So anyway, thank you for watching. Hopefully you found this useful, and we will see you next time.